Harmless Phosphorescence, and we're here to talk about movies and try to be funny and stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4! Hello everyone, this is Gossipy Bitch Thoreau Smiley, and if my life had a face, I would punch it. Who's joining me this week?
That's actually hilarious. I'm Josh Cece.
I'm Brian Lesh, and your BF's about to get effed in the B.
Tell it to the cleaning lady on Monday. I'm Malor Weber.
What does that mean, though?
Classic.
Because she has the weekend off.
What's happening on Monday?
What's happening on Monday?
Hypothetical name.
Yeah, no, it's because the cleaning lady comes and she has the weekend off.
It's like in Dwight's fantasy, his salary is $88,000 a year.
This is Harmless Phosphorescence. It's the deep dive movie podcast where we pick a theme or a series, we watch the movies, we gather some research into the production and source material, and we tell you listeners, all about it. This show, it's brought to you by patrons. We have patrons like executive producers Michael Beckwith and Atticus Burkett. You can also be a patron. Go to patreon.com/harmlessentertainment. It's $1 a month. You get a bunch of movies. We just put Battlefield Earth up there. You're welcome.
Oh boy.
Hey, if you ever wanted an opportunity to pay money for Battlefield Earth, this is it.
That's right.
And have it not go to Scientology.
Yes, if you haven't gotten enough Battlefield Earth, and who among us hasn't, you can go to patreon.com/harmlessentertainment and get us talking about it for hours.
We know you're out there. We know what you want.
Yeah.
The Earthies.
Be warned. The Earthies.
The Earth heads.
The Manimals.
Yeah.
Manimals.
The Earth heads in the Earth verse.
Patreon.com/harmlessentertainment. This week, though, this is actually the last movie in our series of non-superhero comic book movies. It's the last one.
Really?
It was a...
For now.
For now, sure. For now.
I can see
It was the last
you
one.
too.
We didn't do every single one because we weren't gonna
vegan.
we weren't gonna do Casper or Richie Rich. But
These are the ones that were threshold, like, do they make the list?
yeah.
I would not mind doing Casper, I'm not going to lie. We did Josie and the Pussycats. That's
We did.
The Harvey
That's
verse.
fair. And they are in the same universe.
They are. Yeah.
We're going to do all of Riverdale, so Al can take us down that journey. Hold my hands and let's go to Riverdale.
But this week we are watching Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Hey, what's up? I'll leave you alone forever now. You know this one girl with hair like this?
Yes, that's Ramona Flowers.
She's out of your league.
You know her? Tell me now.
She just moved here, got a job at Amazon.
I have to order something really cool.
Scott, are you waiting for the package you just ordered?
Maybe.
Scott Pilgrim?
Hi, I was thinking about asking you out, but then I realized how stupid that would be.
That's okay. You just need to sign for this, all right?
So do you want to go out sometime?
If I say yes, will you sign for your damn package?
So yeah, 8 o'clock? Come to this Battle of the Bands thing.
You have a band.
Yeah, we're terrible.
Mr. Pilgrim! I'm Ramona's first evil ex-boyfriend.
What?
Wait, we're fighting over Ramona?
Didn't you get my email explaining the situation?
I skimmed it. What was that all about?
If we're gonna date, you may have to defeat my 7 evil exes.
So what you're saying is we are dating?
I guess.
Does that mean we can make out?
Sure.
Scott Pilgrim! Prepare to feel the wrath of the League of Evil Exes.
Ramona dated twins.
At the same time?
If you want something bad, you have to fight for it. Step up your game, Scott. Combo. Break out the L word.
Lesbian?
The other L word.
Lesbians?
What are you doing?
Getting a life.
You want to fight me for her? Why on earth would you want to do that?
Because I'm in love with her.
Scott Pilgrim versus the world.
Maybe next time we don't date the girl with 11 evil ex-boyfriends.
7.
Oh, that's not that bad.
Scott Pilgrim versus the world. It was released August 13th, 2010. Has a running time of 112 minutes. It cost $85 million. And it made $49 million at the box office.
So weird.
Yeah, I really thought it was a big hit. It did make an additional $30 million in DVD sales.
I believe this wasn't a hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I was in school when this came out, and this is all people talked about.
Well, I was going to say it feels, no, correct me if I'm wrong, but it feels like the millennial movie, like the way that Clueless or Empire Records felt like a Gen X movie.
This
we had
Juno.
Dazed and Confused for some reason. Yeah, and Juno, but yeah, I mean, it's a who's who.
Yeah. The cast
of everybody who went on to be like, the new Brat Pack millennial.
Yeah, this was kind of the coming out party for Michael Cera being the millennials' weirdest romantic leading man.
So perfect.
Yeah.
It's weird. It made several top 10 lists and received over 70 awards and nominations. It didn't make its money back.
Yeah, well, it didn't. I think it ended up probably breaking even between the DVD sales and then the streaming deals. It's been streaming. It was on Netflix, streaming as of 2014.
Like day one kind of thing. Yeah.
So
I thought you were going to say at least 100 million.
No.
I thought it was better than single digit.
Yeah, it's really weird. It didn't do well in theaters, but I think it's general. And that 85 million, 25 of that got offset because they filmed in Toronto, so they got a lot of tax breaks.
Yeah, man.
So
a lot of things happen in Toronto. Filming.
So a lot. It did. I think it ended up, not being in the red.
Right. No. Yeah.
As far as a cult classic, it's definitely hung in there.
Oh, it is well regarded.
Yeah.
This is
got my money at the box office.
I believe I saw it.
I went with a big group of people.
And
there was another one where I didn't really know the property.
I had
just alleged.
I had let's see, in 2010, I had a 3-year-old and an 11-year-old, and I was not going to a whole lot of movies.
Oh, really?
But I did watch it at home.
I knew a gal who read the comic or the graphic
novel. You knew a gal.
But that she was super excited, and she got a group of 15 people to go, which was cool.
But yeah. So like I said, this movie was released August 13th, 2010, and that means we're going to play the box office top 10 game. This is the game where I will describe the top 10 movies of the week of August 13th, 2010. And the guys here are going to try to guess what movie I am describing. So this week, August 13th, 2010, at number 10, the ongoing war between two different sides is put on hold when they join forces to thwart a rogue spy with her own sinister plans for conquest.
It's like
Rogue
a
One?
G.I. Joe movie.
Oh no. Oh no.
Not Rogue One. Oh.
No.
It's 2010. Yeah, it's too early.
Poster. This goddamn poster. Oh my god. This is a sequel. It's the only sequel to what was a moderately successful film from like, I don't know, somewhere like 7, 8.
Is this like a Triple X movie or something?
No. This is okay, I'll give you the tagline. Just like real spies, only furrier.
Oh my god. I don't know why that's so scary, but
Cats and Dogs.
Cats and Dogs, The Revenge of Kitty Galore.
Hours.
Still hanging on to innuendo for a generation who has no idea what you're talking about.
Right, and Pussy Galore was
It's
already
right
a
there.
cat reference, but it's a kids movie, so they can't say pussy.
But again, it was like us growing up. We knew references to like Jack Benny and Laurel and Hardy, and it's like, okay,
yeah,
all right. I guess somebody gets it. For the one dad who got stuck with taking them all to the movies.
Yeah, exactly. Got to put something in there. So, at number
Thoreau, did you go see this one?
I did not.
Perfect for you.
Did not. No. It definitely at some point was on a screen at home, but I don't think I was looking at it. It was more like, look at the screen, guys. I'm making dinner and leave me alone.
Yeah, Ella enjoyed talking dog movies and CGI dog movies. I've seen all the Beverly Hills Chihuahua.
Yeah, I'm
whatever.
partial to talking horses. Dogs don't really get me. I don't know.
There was one yesterday.
We're old
What
school.
was it?
When we were growing up, it was horses that talk. Of course.
I like my dogs playing basketball,
Or poker.
big on rule.
Playing basketball, yeah. Why not make the whole team golden retrievers?
Airbuds. I think they did that eventually.
Did they?
What was it? Oh, Home. That's right.
It's Airbud, the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
I saw a funny tweet that was like, do it in reverse, where a human man accidentally wins the Westminster Dog Show.
Yes, please do it. There's no law. There's no rule that says a human can't enter the Westminster Dog Show.
Loophole.
I just imagine a man collared in like bondage gear.
That's the funny thing is there would be a lot of entries.
Yeah,
a lot of straight-faced entries.
Yesterday, Jude asked me. Jude was like, "Oh, what? Do you remember that movie that starred Jim Parsons and Rihanna?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" It was like, he was like, Home. I was like, "What are you saying?" It's an animated movie about like an alien and a cat from the early 2010s, and he was like, "I watched that 7 times." I was like, "No memory."
That's interesting. I don't remember that movie at all, but I'd like to hear Rihanna do voice acting. She's got a charming voice to listen to.
I still don't know if she. I'm guessing she's the cat. Jim
That would be
Parsons
my
would
guess.
probably be the alien.
Natural allies, the alien and the cat.
Yeah.
I'm not joking though.
Yeah, no, for real.
For sure.
They would see the way we treat cats and they'd be like, I would like to speak to the cat, please. Even dogs, they catch on how dumb dogs were right away, but they'd still be
and
impressed at what we do.
Cats would definitely unlatch the door for aliens.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. There would be co-conspiracies immediately. I guess every conspiracy is a co-conspiracy.
Yeah, otherwise it's just one guy thinking about stuff.
Otherwise you're losing it. You're talking to the voices in your head.
One guy thinking.
At number 9 this week at the box office. We've only been through one movie, guys. At number 9 this week.
You would find.
A CIA agent goes on the run after a defector accuses her of being a Russian spy. Starring Angelina Jolie. There's not much more information I can give you.
love how often she's a spy. There's nobody less conspicuous than Angelina Jolie.
Yeah, seriously. There's this striking woman that walked into the room.
Yeah, let's all watch her.
This is a one-word title. It tells you
defector.
nothing. No, it tells you nothing. It's a noun.
Shoebox.
You're in the right.
Yeah.
You're in the right frame of mind there, Brian. But even shorter, even less descriptive. One syllable.
Oh. Bang.
No, that's too descriptive, Brian. It's just a single noun.
It's a noun.
Slip. That's not a noun. That's a verb. Well, it could be a lady slip.
Lady slip.
Double entendre because it's a lady. Pray.
What's else?
Crate.
Great.
Yeah, is it
Barrel.
Is it crate?
No, that's 2 syllables.
Bag.
It is salt.
Oh, I remember that.
I'm on a low sodium, so I didn't say it.
At number 8 this week. After he finds out that his work superiors host a dinner celebrating the idiocy of their special guests, a rising executive questions the merits of his invitation just as he befriends a man who would be the perfect guest.
Dinner with
for
idiots.
Schmucks.
Dinner for schmucks. Yeah.
Good movie.
It's not a bad movie.
No, not at all.
It's weird. It's weird as hell.
It really is. Yeah.
It's based on a French movie, and it's such a French premise. Let's purposely make fun of people to their face.
Well, and then realize
that's visiting France.
They're like, wait, this mouse diorama is art.
Yeah, those are wild.
Yeah.
That movie ends in such a
but the
weird
actual
way.
dinner, like they have Jeff Dunham playing, a ventriloquist that they're making fun of, and it's just right.
Oh my god! It's my dad's favorite comic, and I go, Dad, that's not a comic. That's a puppeteer. He's a ventriloquist.
Yeah. If anything, the jalapeno on the stick is doing the work.
I'm like, dude, it's cool. We killed Osama bin Laden. You can get over it.
It's still incredible to me that there was an entire generation of whatever they were, silent generation, like great whatever, that grew up with ventriloquists on the radio and didn't question it for a second.
God. Yes. Oh my god.
Yeah, that was the golden age of ventriloquism. Anyone could do it.
I grew up reading the Goosebumps books, which leaned heavily on ventriloquism and those puppets are haunted. But they definitely took swipes at ventriloquists on the radio multiple times throughout those books.
Yeah, I mean, it takes a certain constitution to be a ventriloquist. You have to know that you're walking in. It's like a close-up magician.
Yeah. Yes.
You have to know where you fit.
Yeah.
In the world.
It's like being a clown or a mime. You're filling a very specific
you have
role.
a little more to work with.
Yeah, clowns.
Ventriloquism, you've got a puppet no matter what, whether it's your hand like Senior Wences. It's all right. It's okay. That guy was on Ed Sullivan. First talking hand. Sorry, moving on.
Yeah. Fucking ventriloquism. All right. At number 7.
That's on our t-shirts.
Fucking ventriloquism.
Him, not is.
At number 7 this week, a tight-knit group of New York City street dancers find themselves pitted against the world's best hip-hop dancers in a high-stakes showdown.
Breaking
You'd have to
13.
be close-knit, right?
Yes.
Rise of the Machines. Okay. 2010.
This is the third in a series of films.
Step Up.
Bring It On. Oh, Step Up.
Step Up.
Step onto the street.
And they use a naming convention because it's the third movie, and it's came about in the era of a particular cinematic device.
Too Fast.
Step Up 3.
Revenge of
Revenge of the Step Family.
of the
Step Up,
whatever dance crew names.
Step Up 3D.
Oh. Like you should have said like Jaws, man. They were desperate.
That was good, but that was too on the nose.
Wow.
It's true.
People dancing in 3D. I've seen it.
Yes.
It's impressive. It's as impressive as it is.
Yeah.
I just imagine it's a lot of kicks to the face from the first person perspective. Like
a lot of hand movements.
You just feel like you're going to get kicked or hit. Like, we're dancing too close. Everybody needs to spread out.
Do not come closer than the cardboard. You're going to do some helicopters. Now, if they went back and made the original Breakin' or Breakin' 2 3D, now that's a whole thing.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's the same game, but it would be more fun.
At number 6 this week. A criminal mastermind adopts 3 orphans as pawns to carry out the biggest heist in history. His life takes an unexpected turn when the little girls see him as a potential father.
Despicable Me?
Yes, it is. The original Despicable Me.
This is before we had the minions as a scourge upon our planet. This is before we opened the door to this sickness.
Moms and grandmas and aunties.
2010. That's when it all began.
A little yellow creature with one eye is like it's wine o'clock somewhere. I don't see the connection.
Or remain ungovernable. You know, it's like, wait, like, what do you mean? He's a little goon for this.
Yeah, they would naturally form a union if they could.
No. My favorite minion memes are the ones that are like Blue Lives Matter minion memes that are like.
Yes, the bonker out of context.
They have like a machine gun and they're like from my cold dead hands.
Yeah, they're like
These
physically
bullets
assaulting.
don't run.
They're like assaulting like a green minion character or like Mike Wazowski or something.
Yeah. At number opening at number 5 this week. In a magically realistic version of Toronto.
That's unnecessary. Cut that. All right.
A young man must defeat his new girlfriend's 7 evil exes.
See, that's your grabber. Not a magical version of Toronto.
Yeah. I'm expecting like rain. I'm from America. I'm expecting reindeer and Mounties.
Mm-hmm. And, shots of maple syrup.
Majestic moose and bear fights.
Wait, did you say magically realistic?
That's what it says, yes.
Magic realism is the thing.
They're magically realistic, much like Lucky Charms.
Like, damn. Yeah.
Almost actual marshmallows. Scott Pilgrim opened at number 5. At number 4 this week, a thief who steals corporate secrets through the use of a secret technology is given the task of planting an idea in the mind of a CEO.
Inception, yes.
Ooh, Inception.
Indeed.
For men.
Inception for men. At number 3 this week, 2 mismatched New York City detectives seize an opportunity to step up like the city's top cops.
The other guys,
yeah.
You learned how to dance sarcastically?
Is this before The Departed? Or is that after The Departed? That's got to be after
it's somewhere
The
in this area, I think.
Yeah.
Somewhere within
yeah, it's somewhere in this area, yeah.
Opening.
Why do you see it as a prequel or
I do see them as spiritually connected.
Mark Wahlberg plays the same character.
Yeah.
He's incapable of playing any other character.
Oh, yeah,
besides
no.
Marky Mark.
No,
He's
he-
like, all of my acting is keeping the racism in constantly.
He can only play a latently racist Bostonian. That's all he can do.
Dim-witted.
It's like Darth Vader. If I didn't have this robot suit, I'd be much more powerful. He's like, if I weren't so damn racist, I'd be a great actor.
Yeah.
Too busy not being racist. I can't stand him. He's terrible.
Yeah, no, fuck that guy.
Anytime I go back and watch The Departed, I'm like, how much of this do I have to endure? Is he gonna live through the whole fucking movie?
Oh, I mean, sometimes he fits the role, but at least Matt Damon was smart enough to be like, okay, I'm associated with, my first character is associated with Boston, but he's a genius. Make no mistake.
Yeah.
Where Mark's like, I did Calvin Klein ads, and I was in the Funky Bunch, which was the worst street gang in all of Worcester.
He was the leader of the Funky Bunch. Thank you very much. At number 2 this week, opening at number 2, a married woman realizes how unhappy her marriage really is and that her life needs to go on in a different direction. After a painful divorce, she takes off on a journey to find herself.
Glad they make
is
movies
this
of that.
Julia Roberts? Is this Live, Laugh, Love?
Yeah.
Pray.
The movie that launched 1 million
kitchen decorations?
faux wooden kitchen decorations. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that's the other. Those are the Minion meme women that are just a little classy.
Yeah, exactly.
They have like manifest your life.
Eat, pray, love, fuck, marry, kill.
Stop, drop, and roll. All the classics.
Snap, crackle, pop.
I want to have an engraved calligraphy
I have to-
painted stop, drop, and...
I have to get them printed out because I have a hard time keeping track of how many of them there are.
Yeah. We'll just go to a home store. So many inspirational pieces of wood to get your life going again.
And opening at number 1 this week, a CIA operative hires a team of mercenaries to eliminate a Latin dictator and a renegade CIA agent.
The truth.
Starring Stallone, Statham, Lee, Lundgren, Terry Crews, Bruce Willis, Mickey Rourke, Steve Austin.
No,
Dad movie. This is
Dad.
Yeah, Action Dads.
Basically, it's the Expendables,
right? Or
Expendables.
Expendables.
Yeah.
Did you say the deplorables?
Yes, I did. And I wasn't
Basket of them.
joking. That's what came to mind.
We're going to stand at this voting location all voting day long.
At first, I heard voting location. I was just imagining voting, because places.
Yeah, they're also at the voting locations, but that's usually Memorial Day weekend.
That's when they just relax, throw some burgers on the grill.
That is our box office top 10, which brings us to the character and comic book background. Professor Weber. Scott Pilgrim versus the World was based on a comic book. Tell
Yes,
us
it was.
some of the stuff.
Scott Pilgrim is a series of graphic novels by Canadian author and artist Brian Lee O'Malley. It was originally published by Oni Press, which is best known for Scott Pilgrim and the comic adaptation of Rick and Morty. Came out after the show, or
They're
during the show.
They're very much like the
show
Simpsons
property first.
comics.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
just like things that aren't episodes or can't be episodes. Basically, they're cool.
The Scott Pilgrim series consists of 6 digest-sized black and white volumes. Digest size is smaller than a standard comic book, but larger than a paperback novel, most closely approximating the size of a DVD case. or for those of us that remember them, a Reader's Digest.
Or an Archie comic.
Oh, the Archie
size.
Digest.
The Jumbo Digest.
Archie manga. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that, manga's big in that format, or sideways in that format also.
I mean, it was one of the reasons I enjoyed reading Archie comics, because you could literally put it in your pocket or throw it anywhere.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I have detention. I have at least an Archie comic. That's a peek into my life.
Oh, Reggie.
You are incorrigible.
The Scott Pilgrim series was originally published between August 2004 and July 2010. The interest in adapting Scott Pilgrim to a movie arose almost immediately after the release of the first volume. Scott Pilgrim's Precious Little Life was what the first volume was called, and that was in 2004. The sixth and final volume was released 11 months after wrapping up principal photography for the film.
All right. I didn't realize it was so closely, timed or what have you.
Yeah, they were very intertwined, and Edgar Wright worked very closely with Brian Lee O'Malley on the film.
This movie runs the entire course of the 6 volumes, with creator O'Malley advising for the ending in particular. Clearly, the movie had to skip over a lot of nuance and backstory from the comic, but the plot synopsis is the same. Scott Pilgrim is a Canadian slacker and bass player in his early 20s in Toronto. He was 23 in the comic. 22 in the movie.
Oh, right. Gotcha.
Well, they didn't want him dating a teenager to be creepy. So
Yeah.
They had to age it down.
Just
one extra year. He's dating a 17-year-old high school girl in an attempt to get over a traumatic breakup. Scott then begins to fall for an American-born delivery girl, Ramona Flowers, who he has seen in his dreams. Scott soon realizes he must defeat all of Ramona's 7 evil exes one by one in order to have a relationship with her. Her evil exes have all become supervillains with supernatural powers.
Magically real. Toronto.
The Scott Pilgrim character...
Torontonians?
Amazonians?
Torontoads.
Toronto's. Oh, if that's what they're called, I'm moving next week.
Yeah, for real. I want a cutoff shirt with that on the back.
The Toronto's.
The Scott Pilgrim character was inspired by a 1998 song of the same name by Canadian band Plumtree. We can see Scott wearing a Plumtree t-shirt in the movie. Also inspired by the Japanese parody instructional book, Even a Monkey Can Draw Manga. O'Malley stated that he initially expected to sell about 1,000 copies of Scott Pilgrim, certainly not millions of copies in a film adaptation.
I can't say I really read any, but I liked that it seemed sort of like a bridge between traditional comics and manga.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like it didn't seem quite as at least for me. You flip through a manga comic and it's just a bit much. You don't know where to begin reading. Yeah,
sometimes literally because they're
nice
backwards.
Bridge. Right. I know that was a funny thing to say, but with comics, you want to be able to pick it up, open it to any page, and get going.
Yeah.
But it seemed like a nice gap filler.
Many other people thought as well, because Scott Pilgrim was ranked 85th on Wizard Magazine's 2008 list of the 200 greatest comic characters of all time.
Oh, Wizard.
That list came out before the series ended.
All right. Thank you, Al. Okay. So that brings us to the production of the film itself. this film obviously is directed by Edgar Wright. Edgar Wright, of course, from the Cornetto trilogy, Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz and The World's End, great movies. Baby Driver, great movie that unfortunately got overshadowed by starring Kevin Spacey right as he was being Kevin Spacey'd. Last Night in Soho, I haven't seen, and people seem to be a little meh on it.
I still haven't seen it either.
Yeah, which is weird because people are generally like clamoring for like its films, but
it's interesting that he made the Cornetto trilogy, which are in England, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then this, which is in Canada, and then the rest of his movies are in America.
Yeah.
Like just this.
Well,
like
I think the Soho they're referring to is the Soho in London.
Oh.
In that
there
movie,
you go.
right? I didn't see it either.
I thought it was New York, but
there's also a Soho. Well, it could be Evanston, yeah.
Yeah. Edgar Wright, of course. He his first very independent feature film made called A Fistful of Fingers in 1995. It's described as a British comedy western. So
that's interesting.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was
probably better than Seth MacFarlane's western.
Oh yeah, Live and Die, or A Million Ways to Die in the West, or whatever.
Yeah, I think it's
starring Liam Neeson and himself. Oof.
Yeah, exactly. It's been let's see, it cost $15,000 to make.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yep, Fistful of Fingers. After that, he started working in British TV. His first series, which he wrote and created, was called Asylum. It was set in an insane asylum, and it would have a rotating cast of British comedians who would come in and kind of just do stand-up bits a lot of the time. But
British television comedy.
Yeah,
it's always just that.
Exactly. But the second lead in it was Simon Pegg, which began cool. Simon Pegg and Edgar Wright's long history of working together. That was followed up by Spaced. Have any of you guys watched Spaced?
Yeah.
Yes.
I love Spaced. Spaced is kind of like the British like equivalent of, I don't know, it's just British Gen X, like completely.
I was going to say it felt like a Gen X version of the Young Ones.
Yeah, exactly. It has what might be the single most realistic like episode like look at a rave I've ever seen.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
raves.
The rave episode of that was hilarious, but great.
I remember being in raves and just yelling, "Does anyone enjoy this?" Yeah. I guess I actually did that, but yeah, just being in a rave. Yeah.
Raves, those were the days.
Wild.
Yeah. But then, of course, after Spaced, he and Simon Pegg and Nick, freaking
Frost.
Nick Frost. Thank
Frost,
you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Started working on the Cornetto trilogy. Shaun of the Dead, of course, being an absolute classic, and Hot Fuzz too, being one of just the best comedies ever made. While making Shaun of the Dead, Edgar Wright got his hands on Scott Pilgrim, the comic, the graphic novel, and decided he wanted to adapt it into a film. So he got in touch with Brian Lee O'Malley, and they contacted a producer and pitched it, and they started working on it. They hired Michael Bacall to write the script. Michael Bacall started out as an actor. He was in Free Willy. He did.
Is he? Any relation to Lauren Bacall?
No.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he was in Free Willy. He was in This Boy's Life, an episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Urban Legends Final Cut. He was in Grindhouse, Death Proof, and he was in Inglourious Bastards. He played PFC Zimmerman. He was also in Django. He worked with Tarantino a few times there. In Django, he was Smitty. He played Smitty. Okay. But he started screenwriting in the 2000s. He wrote something called Manic in 2001. I don't really remember that. Bookies in 2003, and then Scott Pilgrim versus the World. He went on to be the screenwriter of both the Jump Street movies, 21 and 22 Jump Street.
All right, the first one at least is not a bad movie.
The second one, I don't know if it's a good movie, but it's crazy. It goes so far over the shark that it's like there is no shark.
Yeah.
He's currently working on scripts for reboots of Weird Science and a more faithful adaptation of Stephen King's The Running Man. The Arnold Schwarzenegger movie being not an adaptation of The Running Man, but pretending it was for some sort of like IP
some
purpose.
Weird reason.
Yeah,
That's fascinating.
The Running Man would be cool.
Yeah, I
Weird
love
Science
that book.
is funny when there are actual sex robots now. Like, you're gonna make one? That's lame. Order one on Amazon.
Right. Yeah, so this film was made as Al mentioned, while the books were still being published. One of the big changes that was made was the film originally had Scott getting back together with Knives. But yeah, at the end, but it one didn't test well, and two, Brian Lee O'Malley convinced Edgar Wright that it should follow the what ended up as the book ending of him getting back with Ramona, and basically Knives realizing that she deserves better than Scott.
Yeah.
Well, that just, so the whole thing's about Ramona. So they really had two options. He ends up with her or he doesn't. But having him end up with somebody else feels like it would be, I don't know, I'd feel gypped after reading all that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not to mention, I can't imagine that ending because the entire movie shows Knives realizing how shitty Scott is.
Yeah, I mean,
and then feeling bad for him.
Yeah, let's be clear. It's about two toxic people getting together.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, exactly.
In the movie, Chow's Knives just kind of feels bad for him.
Yeah,
that's how that ends up.
Yeah,
and that's
she can fix him.
Knives.
Yeah, she can fix him. Like, I think is her attitude.
Yeah, I mean, for a lot of it, and then at the end, she's like, "No, I don't want to fix him. I just want to walk away."
I'll help you win this battle, but that's about it.
Yeah. So the film. Let's see. There's a note here. He stopped working on Ant-Man for 2 years while making Scott Pilgrim. He was working on Ant-Man since the mid-2000s.
Wild.
I didn't realize that this was part of that whole Ant-Man saga. That's fascinating.
Yeah. So it is set very specifically in Toronto. And they use a number of real Toronto venues that no longer exist.
That's what makes it magically realistic.
That's the ticket.
That's what does it. Yeah, and it was very, very tightly intertwined with the Toronto indie music scene of the time. And it apparently reflects what that scene was like very accurately.
Lots of Battle of the Bands?
Yeah, I guess.
That sucks. Like, that doesn't sound like a fun show scene at all. That's all we get in this movie is battles of the bands.
There are three big bands that are featured in this that perform. The soundtrack, the non-diegetic music was done by Nigel Godrich, Radiohead producer and composer. And then each of the bands were assigned an actual real act or talent to do their music. So Bob-omb, all the Bob-omb music was written and produced and performed by Beck.
And you could tell that Steven Stills' guitar, like it's just very Beck.
It's very Beck. Yeah, absolutely.
Especially this era too.
Right down to the like weathered, beaten up acoustic guitar that just only like nothing sounds like that particular guitar. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing sounds as bad as that guitar does in its own unique way.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. What were they called? Crash.
Wait, is Beck from Toronto?
No, he's from LA.
No.
I was going to say, I was like, because he's a Scientologist. Not to tie this back into Battlefield Earth, but he's
he actually he claims to have left Scientology at some point recently.
I'm happy for him if that's the case. But yeah, I mainly the LA Toronto connection, going like, they have people in Toronto.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, his dad was a very successful avant-garde artist.
Yeah.
In LA, so again, he burst on a particular scene.
I love Beck. He was one of my first musicians that I loved as a little kid.
Oh yeah, in the 90s, that was fire.
Yeah, absolutely. What is it? What is that band? Crash. I'm still looking for the name.
A Clash at Demon Head?
No, that's Clash at Demon Head.
Crash Test Dummies.
No, they're
Crash Bandicoot.
The other band that was in this.
Yeah, I know.
Crash and the Boys.
Crash and the Boys. Thank you.
With the drummer. Yeah. The hilarious little drummer.
So all three of these bands are named after video games, of course. Crash and the Boys. They were their music was done by Broken Social Scene.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And Clash at Demon Head, their music was done by Metric.
I think all the musical numbers in this were awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was no moment where it was like, like when they did it, they were doing it intentionally to get the weird feeling out of it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
But I could listen to any one of those songs separately on a playlist kind of thing.
Yeah.
There was some good tracks.
The Clash of Demon Head song is that could be straight up hit. That's like.
Yeah, that was a fantastic.
Yeah. Chris Murphy of Sloan taught all of the actors to play music except for Michael Cera, who already was a guitarist.
Oh,
yeah.
That didn't surprise me.
Yeah.
He was in bands like Jason Schwartzman. They were in LA bands.
Mm-hmm.
Forget about Schwartzman's California. What was that band?
Yeah.
Phantom Planet or something?
Phantom Planet, yeah. California. Yeah, totally.
Schwartzman. So they so the music was very, very intertwined. There's a lot of little Easter eggs, like for instance when he says, "I learned the music to Final Fantasy II." That's actually the music to Final Fantasy IV, but it was released in America as Final Fantasy II.
Oh my God, that's awesome. It's so dumb.
Yes.
I will say this movie captured this moment of the beginning of the weeboo, I collect manga as an American, but I'm also into punk rock and I like, the Smiths. All of a sudden there was this moment where people my age were capturing all kinds of stuff and making it their identity.
That's what I was trying to say early on about the millennial.
Yeah. In that millennial sense of these things make me who I am. And this movie, like all of these characters have this like identifying thing, like Chris Evans skateboards, and as a movie star, you know, like,
and that you can pick and choose the things you like. You know, still, when growing up, we still had to deal with what was cool or not. It didn't stop us, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
you know, if you walked around with a skateboard, you know, skater Dave.
I stopped being punk at one point and was still punk. You know, like I dropped that as my identity, and it was no longer necessary.
To be jaded. Mm-hmm. You could enjoy punk as on many different levels. Yeah. You had to be angry in punk. The best were the straight edge guys. So angry. It's like, what?
Oh yeah.
Why
they have no outlet.
Get high with me?
Yeah. Yeah. No. At a certain point, punk stopped being a like. You can't like anything else.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But that moment where you could like collect your identity off of a shelf. I mean, Hot Topic. Not to call us all a Hot Topic generation of like my generation of you walk into a store and you walk out a new person. You know.
Well, sure, but exactly. That's kind of what we're saying is that because you'd be called a poser when we were. You know, I'm sure that not that they're not still, but you'd really get laughed at. But
yeah.
Like, you know, like, oh, you're just into the aesthetic. Well, that's what everybody's into. Yeah. If you were blind, you would not take as much care.
Well, and I think it's interesting. So Gen X was very much like, you know, there's, you know, you can't sell out. There's, you know, the underground. Right. And then millennials very much like, no, we can like everything. We can like all these things. And it's still cool. And then Gen Z is just like, everything exists.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. A lot of this stuff sucks. Is kind of their attitude.
Like, why can't a punk rocker like Star Wars?
Yeah.
Like that's just, you know.
I saw a thing recently that said you can tell the generational switchover from millennial is happening because they're replacing all of the Rick and Morty bongs with Smiling Friends bongs.
Yes. I don't get Smiling Friends. It hurts my brain. It's like SpongeBob.
Jude's made me watch it, and I'm like, I can't. I don't understand. I'm sorry.
You should check it out. It's streaming on a bunch of stuff. Yeah, it's Cartoon Network, right?
Yeah, it's a Adult Swim show.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, some other Easter eggs in the film. Scott's T-shirts, of course. Al mentioned the Plum Tree T-shirt, of which Scott was named after. Of course, he wears Smashing Pumpkins, which SP, Scott Pilgrim. He has a shirt with the Rock Band logo on it. Video game about music.
Those intersecting identity things.
Yeah. He wears a Fantastic Four shirt, which was at the time.
Fantastic 4 1/4.
Yes, 4 1/4.
Which who wore that?
Bagman.
Was it Spidey?
I think it was Bagman. Yeah.
Yes, it was.
So Spidey, but yeah.
Spidey, but yeah. I got you.
That was in honor of Chris Evans, who at the time was best known as the Human Torch.
Still best known as the Human Torch.
Of course.
He made his own hot tub. We'll never forget it.
We'll never forget it. That's what I would use the power.
It's what I think of every time I go to the movies and I see what's her name, Maria Menounos. She's the hot tub.
Oh, she's the one.
Fantastic Four.
I would use it for that and lighting joints and stuff.
Oh yeah, I'd be
That's about it.
Lighting everybody's cigarettes. I'd be like, you guys got to start smoking so I can light your cigarettes.
So.
Sorry.
He of course had an X-Men patch on his coat
to go with the X's.
Yeah, the evil X's. Yeah, exactly. Negascott at the end is a reference to Dark Link and designed to look similar to Dark Link from Legend of Zelda.
And Negasonic from the Sonic video games.
Yes, exactly.
Which is very much the platformer that their kind of style thing.
They are. There's a lot of street fighter iconography in the video game stuff.
Street formers.
the top-down kind of roguelike dungeon crawling Legend of Zelda vibe,
Yes.
and the Sonic the Hedgehog. They kind of touched all of these different gaming corners. Sonic fans don't talk about Sonic the Hedgehog. I should stop.
Yeah.
That's the one rule.
Yeah.
It's like Fight Club. Yeah. All right.
There's a ton of references in here. There's the Seinfeld.
That's great.
Yeah, that was
used so well.
I forgot about that bit,
Yeah.
which is weird as hell because I grew up watching Seinfeld as like a young kid all the way into adulthood.
Oh, why would you remember that one singular bit?
But like it's just weird that bit being in this movie, and it is such like a moment for somebody because Michael Cera's about my age. The characters in this movie are about my age. It's weird to think back as that was like a party. It's like doing a Who's on First joke. You know, like it is part of the culture at that point. It's no longer a current reference.
Yeah, sure.
Which now it's crazy to see it 30 years later, almost. You know.
Just now I'm thinking about it. There was also a time when even people we knew, friends we had, when they made an entrance, you know, you didn't know necessarily if someone was coming over. Just the door opens up and it's like, it's that guy. He's a character. And so, there's a lot of entering this apartment.
Yeah.
And so it had that vibe too of like snappy dialogue coming in.
Everybody's night's getting fucked up, you know, the moment someone walks
he's
in.
winning.
Yeah.
In his mind, he's winning. So, he's Kramer, not George.
Yeah, exactly. They at one point talking about one of the battles band, they say this is a league game, which is a reference to Big Lebowski.
Lebowski. Sure is.
Yeah.
Shomer Shabbos.
Yeah.
Homer fucking Shabbos.
And like I said, there's a bunch of Street Fighter stuff in there.
I saw a Tucson Easter egg at the party. As the camera's zooming in on Scott, there's a dude that has a Calexico shirt on.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
Yeah. That is all. And
the fight between Scott and Roxy was there was some frame for frame remakes of the introduction to Ninja Gaiden. So this film stars, as we said, Michael Cera. Let's see, Michael Cera. I think he probably got his start on Arrested Development, as far as being in the public consciousness goes.
I think his first credit was the Abby Hoffman movie.
Oh,
D'Onofrio.
Okay.
But definitely Arrested Development.
Yeah, he played George Michael in Arrested Development.
He also had an early YouTube web series with Clark Duke.
Oh,
Michael and Clark.
Huh. I remember seeing that.
Yeah, it was entertaining, especially because it was new. That kind of sketch comedy online.
Yeah. Huh.
Yes, and
this was kind of his moment. He was in all of these weird, millennial romantic lead things. Scott Pilgrim, Juno, Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist.
Whoever this dude's representation was at that moment in time. Mm-hmm. I hope they made truckloads of money, because holy shit.
I think they did.
Holy shit.
Yeah, making Michael Cera a leading man is crazy.
Yeah, and we were so saturated with him. It was like they plundered the capability of him being a leading man. They're like, we're just gonna hit Hollywood hard for 2 years, and then they're gonna get burned out on him.
I mean,
they're like, this is what emo is, and this is what emo looks like.
Yeah.
Eat it up.
Like, this trend can't last forever. Let's get as much as we can now.
He's looking more and more like a bird every day.
Right? Yeah, no.
Finn Wolfhard's representation should have paid attention to the Michael Cera.
Oh, yeah. He's grown into his body horribly.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Like more and more like Jared Kushner every day.
Yeah, like, oh, this didn't go the way we were planning.
Of course, like his first big screen role was probably Superbad. Which,
yeah, that's true.
One of my favorite One Crazy
great.
Night movies. Yeah.
Yeah. Great.
He got to ruin one of my favorite books when he spearheaded and got made Youth in Revolt.
Yeah, I loved that book.
Yeah,
I still haven't
great
seen
book.
the movie.
Terrible movie.
Yeah.
Terrible movie.
Terrible. Yeah.
Yeah, but another one where he got to play a romantic lead against Portia Doubleday. So it's like,
what?
Yeah. And of course, his most recent big screen appearance that was of any note would be he played Alan in Barbie.
Yeah, that was good.
He stole the show in that movie.
Yeah,
I was really
He's
surprised.
totally Alan.
Yeah, he's totally Alan.
The version of himself that he concocted for This Is the End is just
that was great. Yeah,
brilliant. The coked out, pervy,
painful to watch, but also cathartic to watch because you get to watch him die.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Danny McBride, Michael Cera's dead.
Yeah.
Such a good.
But
that's such
all
a good
of his
bit.
lines in that are just great. And he demanded that he wears his own windbreaker, which is the windbreaker.
Well, and Rihanna, I think, right? Him and Rihanna act against each other so much in that movie.
All right. There we go. Okay, yeah. So, Mary Elizabeth Winstead stars as Ramona Flowers. A almost literal manic pixie dream girl. Although I feel like almost Scott Pilgrim is almost like a manic pixie dream boy in this. He's much more manic than she is.
He very
That's
much
true.
is.
He
Or it's
is,
like
that little emo, delicate sort of.
A depressed pixie nightmare boy.
Yeah, she's great. Is she still with Ewan McGregor?
Yeah, they're married.
I love it.
Hera Syndulla is married to Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's great.
The hottest couple in Star Wars.
That's right.
So there are 3 Fargo alums in this. She was brilliant in Fargo.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. The last time we talked about her was in Birds of Prey.
Right.
There are so many comic book people in this movie.
So many comic book people in this movie. We've got Captain America, Superman, Captain Marvel, the Huntress, and of course Captain America is also the Human Torch. It is crazy.
Did we say Superman?
Said Superman, yeah.
Okay.
And of course,
I know we haven't gotten to her yet, but Aubrey Plaza was a villain on
Legion.
Legion, that's right.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So she's in the mutant verse at least.
Yeah. Kieran Culkin plays Wallace Wells. Kieran Culkin, of course, brother of Macaulay. Kieran's first
but he's
film.
earned his own thing.
100%.
He's an actor. Macaulay's still great to see, but Kieran is an actor.
Yeah. Igby Goes Down was probably the first place I really noticed him.
Acting, for sure.
I just saw him as Stryker's son also in this. Just, I mean, Brian Cox in Succession.
Yeah.
I just
I see. I was trying to literally put that together.
I just assumed that Stryker has terrible children also, not serious people.
Yeah. But yeah,
Dad,
Succession.
when do I get to run the secret government?
He's great on Succession. He really is. I didn't finish it because it is the same thing over and over again. Which I get it. The premise can't change, but it's like
the end is really fun.
Literally.
Yeah.
It's worth it just to watch the last 4 or 5 episodes because it's the same
sure I'll
shit. It's like
finish it,
it's like a basketball game. You're like, what does it matter until the very end?
Yeah.
Scrum.
Right. Yes, exactly.
Anna Kendrick stars as Stacy Pilgrim, Scott's sister. Have we done any Anna Kendrick movies? Feels like we should have, but I'm not seeing any. We have not done Twilight.
She's underrepresented.
Oh yeah.
I remember.
What about our Pitch Perfect trilogy?
Oh, we'll get to that one, I'm sure.
I would do those.
Hell yeah, I would. Do you guys remember that tweet from her like 4 years ago or so where she was like, "Holy shit, I just remembered I was in Twilight."
Huh.
Yeah. So Anna Kendrick, of course, yes. Her big break was probably Twilight. And this one then 50-50. I forgot about that movie. Pitch Perfect.
Yes.
God, I'm looking. I'm just like she's like a very famous actress of that era, but like I don't think she had. I'm trying to honestly think of like what big budget thing she was in, but she never was. Pitch Perfect's probably the biggest, or Trolls.
Isn't she in a Disney voice thing?
Trolls. She's in Trolls.
That's it?
Yeah.
She's not in Frozen or something?
No, that's Veronica Mars. What's her face?
I thought she was the other gal. I thought she was
Kristen
the redhead.
Bell.
Yeah.
Not a voice thing, but she was Cinderella in Into the Woods.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Brie Larson plays Envy Adams, of course, Captain Marvel. We're going to be doing the Marvels in just a few weeks, so
Yes, I'm excited for that.
yeah.
I first saw her in the United States of Terra. And,
That's right.
I enjoyed that a lot. That was a fun show.
Yeah. So Brie Larson. Allison Pill as Kim Pine. Allison Pill.
Newsroom is what I think of her from. She was great in that.
Yeah, she was in Star Trek Picard.
Oh yeah.
She has an alien type look to her.
Yeah. This is probably the thing I know her best from. Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen, of course. The Hillary Duff vehicle. Dan and Real.
Confessions. They'll tell you.
Yeah, it's not a confession. They just say stuff constantly.
Teenage drama queens.
Yeah. And Aubrey Plaza, as we mentioned, is Julie Powers. Aubrey Plaza, probably best known as April Ludgate in Parks and Recreation. She was really great in The White Lotus.
Yeah.
Season 2.
Good. She's made a couple pictures that are pretty good.
That's right, I forgot she was in Mystery Team, which was the Derek comedy movie.
Oh, right. Yeah, she was.
That's
an underrated gem.
That was fucking hilarious. Yes, Mystery Team.
I'm surprised that Ellie Kemper didn't get a larger role.
Yeah.
She had a larger role in the group.
But yeah. She's going to be in the upcoming Agatha All Along series.
Yes.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure she plays a sorceress or witch.
Yeah, she was kind of made to play a witch. She unfortunately didn't. Her teenage acting years didn't coincide with any reboot of the Addams Family. Otherwise, she would have been a hell of a Wednesday Addams in the early to mid 2000s.
Did you see the two of them? I forget, they were like the Academy Awards. Her and
Al
who was playing.
And her, yeah.
Yes,
just so deadpan.
Yeah, just mirroring each other for 30 seconds. It was very funny.
Johnny Simmons as young Neil. Johnny Simmons, he was in Perks of Being a Wallflower.
I mean Neil Young? No, young Neil. That's right.
Yeah, young Neil. Not Neil. Yeah.
Stephen Stills.
Yeah, Stephen Stills, young Neil. Fuck. I never saw that until now.
Part of Canadian supergroup.
What was the third one called? She was
Graham Nash.
Graham Nash. Okay.
Oh, the third.
Kim's Kim. So okay, yeah. No Graham Nash reference in her name. All right.
No.
But yeah.
Or Crosby, but he was from L.A.
Yeah. Fuck Crosby.
Fuck Crosby.
The Mark Webber as Stephen Stills. This is definitely his biggest, most well-known role. He was also in The Laramie Project and Snow Day.
Snow Day's fun.
Yeah. Oh my God. And a TV show called Smilf, which I assume is a Smurf I'd like to fuck.
I had written a Smilf spit.
And Ellen Wong is Knives Chow. Ellen Wong. She was in Glow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And The Carrie Diaries. Oof. As let's see, our League of Evil Exes, Chris Evans, of course, as Lucas Lee. Not going into Chris Evans, we've talked about him a lot. Brandon Routh as Todd Ingram. Superman Returns is when we talked about him. Jason Schwartzman as Gideon Graves. Jason Schwartzman, I know we've done a Schwartzman. Oh, Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse. We haven't done. I forgot he was Spot.
Yeah. Good villain.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was well done.
I'm trying to think. I don't think we've done a Schwartzman movie. I'm looking.
I feel like we've talked about him.
We've definitely talked about him, but it may just be because he's nepotized.
And sort of ubiquitous,
Yeah.
especially from 2010. Well, it's from Rushmore on.
Yeah.
Talia Shire's kid.
Yep.
Nick Cage's nephew.
Yeah. Yeah, we haven't done a movie that he has been in previous to this. So yeah.
That's all.
Rushmore, pretty much like every single Wes Anderson movie. Oh, he was Gag Halfront in The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. We did do a movie with him.
Huh.
Mae Whitman as Roxy Richter. Who?
Egg.
It was.
Oh, she got herself a little egg going there.
Yeah. It was great that Egg and George Michael were both in this movie.
Yeah, they fought finally.
Yeah. She was also that's outside of Egg. She was also in Parenthood, Good Girls.
Oh yeah.
She voices Katara in Avatar: The Last Airbender. Oh, and April O'Neil in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2012 animated film.
Sure.
The Satya Baba as Matthew Patel, the first Evil X.
I didn't know who he was, but he's so funny.
The voiceover voice is Bill Hader.
Oh.
Yeah, and I don't think there's many other people of note in this. Well, cameo wise. Let's see. We've got Thomas Jane as one of the vegan police.
Yeah, so good.
And
perfect cop.
Yeah. And
in this, he's the vegan Punisher.
Yeah.
He was also on Arrested Development.
Oh yeah,
he was the
right.
actor that was like method actor pretending to be a homeless guy, and what's her name, Lindsay, helps out.
And Clifton Collins Jr. is the other vegan police. He's like one of those. He's one of those that guy guys.
Character
actor. Yeah. He also did a voice in GTA San Andreas.
Sweet.
Who was he in that? He played Cesar Valpondo. That's about it for the cast. That's about it for the production. I think we've hit every aspect. This movie has 82% on Rotten Tomatoes, 84% audience score, and have a few Letterboxd reviews here. Letterboxd user Samantha writes, multiple girls finding Michael Cera attractive. Sounds super fake, but okay. 5 stars.
He's a bird. Yeah. Yeah. She's not wrong.
Yeah. And Letterboxd user Valentine writes, homophobic, racist, incel, and Canadian. Half a star.
Oh. That guy matters.
I love that Canadian was in all of that.
It's a low-key insult down here, and it always has been.
They're America's hat. I mean, let's be real.
They are our hat.
Yeah, our big woolly hat.
So majestic.
So that's about it, guys. We ready to get into the movie itself?
Ready Player One. No, that's something else.
Fight! Here we go. This is Scott Pilgrim versus the World. We open with a 16-bit Universal intro. Then we get a voiceover telling us that Scott Pilgrim is dating a high schooler.
So great. And putting it that way, a high schooler.
Yeah. So, again, off the bat, Scott Pilgrim is not at any point portrayed as like a good guy. Yeah. He sucks from the beginning.
Opposite.
All the way through the movie.
Yeah, it's not subtle. Like he's a douche.
Yeah.
Right off the bat. Self-absorbed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolute douche. A 22.
You know, because like Wallace is a total smartass, sarcastic, and he likes to instigate, but he's also very real.
Yeah.
Scott's
just a self-absorbed, narcissistic douche.
He's a cad is what they used to call him.
He has no idea that he is.
Yeah, no, he thinks he's
like the best narcissist.
Yeah.
He's so proud of himself when he's talking about it.
Yeah, he thinks it's cool that he's because he gets to be like the cool older guy that ruins a high school girl's life. So yeah, we meet his bandmates who make fun of him for dating a high school girl. Then we meet his 17-year-old girlfriend, Knives Chow. She's coming to watch them practice. And we get that credit sequence where they play and the living room like expands. Knives is super impressed by the music. Cool detail. The light, the reflections in her eyes are little stars when she's watching them play.
The stylized look of this movie is incredible. There aren't enough movies that do this.
Mm-hmm. This is one of the reasons why Edgar Wright is like an important filmmaker. He actually does things with the medium.
What was the Green Hornet that was visually stylistic, like strongly stylized? Was that the Green Hornet where they had the...
That might have been because we did feel that way, yeah.
Because that's the closest thing I could think of with this that predated it, you know? Miss Marvel kind of did it a little bit with the social media thing and her online posting and YouTube videos.
They made video game culture very accessible, which I always appreciate. And they could have it felt like a video game all the way through, but not obtrusively or obnoxiously, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It was video gamey at the right time. The coins, so brilliant.
Oh,
actually doing the coins
and actual real coins. Yeah, it's like
loonies.
Yeah,
it's kind of dark if you think about anything in this movie more than just like the surface level of like, they're just fighting because it's like a game. Like, no, they're fighting to the death.
Yeah, no, those people are dead. He has murdered those
it doesn't make you feel that way. They feel like opponents in a video game. You don't necessarily mourn a single loss. And then, like you said, the coins just, it is morbid, but it softens the blow at the same time.
But I love how he's like, oh, $1.72. This is not enough for the bus.
Yeah. I'll lend you 35 cents. Yeah. It's just normal Canadian money that comes out of their dead bodies. Yeah.
Sorry to nitpick. It was $2.40.
Okay, thanks.
So the bus cost $2.75.
Wow. In 2010, the bus cost $2.75 in Canada. That's crazy.
Ouch.
I'm surprised it's so little because they're another one of those countries that uses mostly coins.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So
everybody uses a coin purse.
Yeah. In Europe, that really not the act of using coins as currency, but like having to up my game and look at every single coin before I'm handing it over. It's like you just gave them a 20. This was before the euro.
Yeah.
I still had a hard time not giving out too many euro.
Yeah, in Belgium.
Yeah, I can't read or count, so it became a problem pretty quickly.
Scott, after practice, goes home. We meet his roommate, Wallace, who is gay. Wallace.
Boy, is he.
Yeah, he is. But I love how much him being gay is part of it while also not defining him. Like,
but it's almost like the vegan thing. Like, this is my gay friend. Like, it's hip to have a gay friend or a vegan friend, or
Well, yeah, and another thing, like that's
why they mentioned it.
It was cool. Like, part of the reason Scott was dating Knives is because it was cool that she was Chinese.
Mm-hmm.
Which is
those emo dudes.
It's Toronto. I'm pretty sure that Toronto's got a huge like Chinese population also, which is interesting.
Yeah,
I learned that about Canada. I was like, wait, the east coast of Canada?
Oh. Makes sense.
Makes sense.
Toronto.
I just don't know nothing about Canada besides maple syrup and Mounties.
So
not a lot to know.
So Jude once made me watch that terrible movie starring Hayden Christensen, Little Italy,
the pizza one,
Little Italy,
in Toronto.
Which is set in Toronto. You know, Toronto's famous Little Italy.
They have one. So I haven't been to Toronto. I have a good friend who lived there a while, and I hear that it's like a clean New York.
Yeah,
like it's a nice.
That was the
New
thing.
York.
Like in DC, Metropolis is Toronto, and Gotham is New York. But yeah,
totally. Why don't they just ask Superman to take like a week and clean up Gotham as well?
Right.
Batman has roundly failed.
It's right across the bay, apparently.
Apparently. Just tell him his mom's over
there. Yeah. So then let's see. Wallace tells Scott's sister that he's dating a teenager. She calls and berates him about it for a while. Then we find out that Knives is his first girlfriend since he got dumped a year earlier by Envy Adams, the lead singer of a band that got signed.
At this point, it's she who will not be named.
Yes.
Yes. Some Voldemort shit there. Which, no, I was going to say we've all dated a Voldemort. I can't say I have.
I mean, who among us hasn't dated Ray Fiennes?
Only in my mind.
Finely tailored suits.
Lots of cologne commercials. Yeah.
Debonair.
Scott and Wallace go to pick Knives up from school. She's
one of my favorite jokes is, do you want to know who's gay in my class? Sure. Does he have glasses?
And and the whole thing of like, you're dating a 17-year-old schoolgirl, a 17-year-old Asian schoolgirl. It's a Catholic school too. Does she wear the little uniform? Yes. Yeah, so they pick her up. Then Knives and Scott kind of go on, I guess, a date. They play a game that's like a version, like it's like Dance Dance Revolution mixed with Mortal Kombat. Is that a real game? I didn't look into that one.
I don't know, but I would play the hell out of it. It looks like so much fun.
Yeah. Yeah. So they go to a music store where Scott's friend Julie is working. Julie invites Scott to a party at her house that weekend. Scott and
I love that she's impressed by his trivial knowledge, his Pac-Man story. It's just like everything you say is interesting.
Yeah. You're an older guy.
He tries it on an adult. It's like, great. That's great.
Yeah.
And he's just like a human puppy also.
Well, yeah. Yeah. But not
they also went to the Goodwill.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Goodwill store.
Thrifting was cool.
Yep.
And cheap pseudo dates.
Yes. Yes.
You're not really on a date, but we used to do that shit.
And you see Scott doing that. You see him like slow motion going for his pockets to pay for things and like looking at her puppy dog eyes.
Right. Well, yeah. And when it's like the things to continue and he's going like, huh? And yeah. Yeah. No, he's a puppy, but he's one of those puppies that's constantly pissing on you.
Yes.
Good way to put it.
Yeah.
Just can't be housebroken.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even know why.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when the dog gives you a look like, I didn't want to piss on the floor either. I'm not quite sure how it happened.
This is embarrassing for both.
Doing it.
This is embarrassing for everyone involved, guys. I'm just gonna
for everyone.
Yeah. So we find out that Scott and Knives haven't even kissed yet.
Which still does not make it better.
No.
By the way.
It doesn't. It does not. He's still.
But we haven't done anything. It's just, I'm waiting till she's an adult. Like, gross.
Mm-hmm. It is gross. Yes, it is.
And it's not that he's waiting, it's that he's also a coward, which is doubly gross. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, and he didn't want to meet her parents for that very reason. So, coward, he's a little scared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he likes being able to brag to his friends.
Yeah. Then Scott has a dream about a girl on skates. And then later at the library, he sees his dream girl delivering a package.
I like how, I don't know if it's before or after, but Wallace saying that he's in his mourning period. And she's like, dating a high schooler is the mourning period.
Yeah. Let's see. This is the sequence where he's like distracted by everything, and there's like cuts in between them being in places that lead like just very, very cool stylistic filmmaking.
I really liked the Desert Lonely Place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The limbo. Interesting note, every time it goes to limbo, it the aspect ratio changes from Academy to 2:3:5.
Oh yeah. That's fun.
Yeah. So they go to Julie's party. He does. Knives doesn't. He finds out that she's an American Amazon delivery girl, and her name's Ramona Flowers.
His composite drawing that he shows, and the dude knows exactly
immediately. Yeah.
Great bit.
Yeah. He tries to talk to her, but he trips all over himself and gives up. He finds out that she moved to Toronto to get over a big breakup.
As one does.
Yeah.
Julie forbids Scott from dating her, dating Ramona.
Yes, she does.
Mostly because she's the coolest person at the party.
Yes.
But also brings up 3 past breakups that Scott had with Lisa, Holly, and Kim.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Doesn't mention Envy, I guess, because Envy dumped him, but he dumped all these other girls.
Mm-hmm.
On Voldemort.
Yeah, no, he was on his way to being like a male Ramona Flowers until Envy dumped him, basically.
And Julie is sort of on Envy's jock as well. Like, it's the only character you see her kissing up to.
Yeah, absolutely. So Scott orders a package so that Ramona will deliver it. And while he's ordering, he gets an email from an unknown person about having a duel. He loses interest in knives, but he doesn't break up with her. He has another dream about Ramona and then wakes up to her delivering his package.
I love the whole "you should break up with your fake high school girlfriend" bit.
Yeah.
Wallace saying it over and over again as he's passing out, and then texting it to Stacy.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I love the covert texting.
Yeah, the covert texting is great, especially the one where he passes out, and while he's passed out, he somehow texts her.
Yeah, the having the best friend who's also best friends with your sister, or good friends with your sister. You're not supposed to narc on me.
So she agrees to go out with him. It's another one of those like just walking around dates that's not actually anything. They
go to the park.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then get cold.
Yeah. And then go to her place.
Colder climates are good for scoring.
Yeah, you got to go get warm.
That's right.
Where's
here in Arizona? It's like, get the fuck away from me. I'm covered in a thin.
There's no place warmer than Mary Elizabeth Winstead's boobs. Yeah, back at Ramona's place, they make out and sleep in the same bed, but don't have sex. At no point does Scott have sex in this movie with anybody.
He does deserve it. It's fine. I thought this was great, though. This is one of those things where I liked the fact that she's like, I don't want to do that tonight. And he's like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And just like hiding under his blankets.
Yeah.
He's not the Lothario that he wants people to think, which fits his personality.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's not nearly aggressive enough to try to pressure her into anything.
Right, or anybody, which is not a bad quality. But you know,
probably learned that whining doesn't get him very far.
Yeah,
but he's not. Yeah, why? Would you please?
Scott invites Ramona to a battle of the bands that Sex Bob-omb is playing at. Knives also shows up, and Scott tries to avoid the situation. And Wallace steals Scott's sister's date. While playing, I thought it was interesting that Scott's sister date is wearing glasses. When he asked when you asked if any of the gay guys wore glasses.
That makes sense. Every time I see this movie, I have to determine whether or not her boyfriend is Hayden Christensen. I have to sit and look at it and go, is that Anakin Skywalker? Shame that it isn't.
While playing, they play what's it called? Garbage Truck.
Yes, Garbage Truck.
Yeah, Garbage Truck, which Ramona gets into. Scott gets attacked by Ramona's ex-boyfriend, Matthew Patel.
His like Bollywood moves, moving the head back and forth.
Who is this actor?
He's not.
Is he from a band? Why do I recognize him? I didn't look it up. I'm asking you because I assume that you were like the internet. You'll just
he's Satya
and
Baba.
It might be wrong.
He's not. Let's see. He's best known as playing Matthew Patel in Scott Pilgrim versus the World. He was also in season 2 of New Girl. He had a recurring role there.
So he's an actor.
He's just a mildly known, mostly working actor.
Because like he wasn't a good singer. He was just really weird, kind of weaselly kind of vibe.
Yeah,
he's like a proto Jason Schwartzman character.
Yeah, kind of.
Or a Bollywood version of.
Yeah. He's been doing some directing of TV stuff. He directed some episodes of Gossip Girl, the new reboot of Gossip Girl. So
somebody had to, I guess.
Yeah, someone did. Yes. Scott defeats him, gets the coins, and we learn that in order to date Ramona, he must defeat all 7 of her evil exes. Knives passed out and missed the whole thing. She wakes up at the end because she was so excited about Sex Bob-omb. Sex Bob-omb wins the Battle of the Band and advances to the next round.
Do you think they would have won if Matthew Patel had not shown up to put on this big show for the crowd?
I think they would have. Garbage Truck was already kind of winning the crowd over, I thought.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was, even though Crash and the Boys, they were good, I think Garbage Truck was better.
I loved their first song, which was all of 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Like it took longer to say the title of the song than to play it.
Yeah.
And, Wallace just heckling.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
It's not a race.
Yeah. And again, this Battle of the Bands was between Beck and Dashboard Confessional for all intents and purposes.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So the talk about him and Ramona have the bus ride home, and they verify their dating. Scott's happy, but Wallace and everybody tells him he needs to break up with Knives. And Wallace tells him if he doesn't break up with Knives, he's going to tell Ramona about Knives. So Scott.
Fair's fair.
Yep. Scott and Knives go out on another date, which is exactly the same as that date we saw at the beginning, except Scott's like super uninterested in any of it. And then she invites him to meet her parents for her birthday dinner, and he breaks up with her.
She'd be turning 18 then, right?
She would be, yeah. But she's still referred to as 17 years old for the rest of the movie, so I don't know.
I wasn't trying to imply some sort of she's
well,
legal now.
But arguably, she's 17 for all intents and purposes as far as Scott Pilgrim is concerned, because he met her when she was 17.
Right, and she's still...
Yeah. That's not why I brought it. Yeah.
No,
exactly.
I'm just not saying that you were saying that, but just
not
to
putting
clarify
words in my...
for our patrons.
Well, was her birthday dinner that night or like a week later?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think she specified.
We just don't know.
Yeah.
She may not have had her birthday by the end of the movie.
Fair. So
still gross.
Yeah. Still, yeah. Yeah. That night, Ramona and Scott have a date. While Wallace goes out to stalk a Hollywood actor and skateboarder named Lucas Lee, who's filming in town. They're making out at home, and when Scott has like kind of a freak out because Ramona changed the color of her hair, and so he's worried she's fickle. So they go out to find Wallace, and it turns out that Lucas Lee is one of Ramona's evil exes. Scott has to fight Lucas and all of his stunt doubles.
The stunt doubles thing is just so incredible.
Yeah.
Also, I love all of the posters.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that this is the moment where I thought the order of the evil exes is interesting, because it kind of felt chronological, because it kind of is chronological. But at the same time, you kind of need this to be early, because otherwise it would be very slow escalation.
Yeah.
This is a big fight. This is a cool, like, whoa, damn. And then the rest of the movie is big as this, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. This is
and they established the mini bosses. Well, like Scott then realizes like he's got to fight smaller characters,
and
that he can fight them. You know what I mean?
There were interesting they were balancing, I'm sure, budget for fight sequences versus the excitement of the energy of the movie at any certain point. Like, yeah. It's cool. It's cool to see how well they were able to kind of continually string us along instead of it just being a string of 7 fights in a row.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's very not just a string of 7 fights in a row.
It didn't become Mortal Kombat, basically.
Yeah.
You know?
But you're right. This was a good first one. It established the rules ongoing. Patel told you what it was.
Yeah. This establishes the stakes really well.
The stakes, and it's not just the X. I have to battle these other people.
Yeah.
And I get points, quote unquote, for that.
Well, and you're not getting any help from Ramona.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, she bails even.
She ghosts him at this point. Yeah.
Yeah.
She ghosts him. And then Envy calls Scott. She finds out he's dating someone new, and she gets jealous. Then Scott gets attacked on the street by a girl. They don't really fight.
She's like a
some of the
ninja.
Yeah.
Lines that she's been practicing.
Yes. That's a perfect. She feels like someone who's been doing this in a mirror for years, waiting.
Absolutely.
Well, the way Jake Peralta on Brooklyn, he's been practicing action lines his whole life. Jake Peralta, did I say Jack? Yeah.
You said Jake.
I love you're bi-curious? Well, honey, watch out because I'm bi-furious.
That was going to be a tag. Bi-furious. I'm hilarious.
She has football player
paint
on her face under her eyes for some reason because she came to play, I guess.
Yeah, she's ready. She's ready to go.
Yeah.
She looks like a roller derby.
Yeah, that's probably
a good way to.
Because she's a lesbian roller derby
and shoulder pads. That makes sense. Yeah, because they do wear the face paint too.
Yeah.
They do.
They do.
The lesbians do.
If we said that about anybody else on this podcast,
I like football players too.
I would get corrected for saying midget. Oh, I see. Roller derby.
Roller derby girls wear face paint.
Because they literally do.
Gardening.
It's part of what they. It's part of the sport.
Fair enough. The L word, the other L word.
Lesbians.
Yeah, the L word, lesbian. The other L word, lesbians. I'm in my open tag. My first tagline was almost "I'm in lesbians."
Oscar. Kevin, have you ever met a lesbian in real life?
The Scott runs into Ramona at the coffee shop. They kind of reconnect. She says she was kind of ghosting him because her stuff was so complicated and she was like doing it for Scott. But
yeah, I'd be like, well, you dragged me into a very complicated situation as well.
Yeah.
Like, could you give me at least some tips? Oh, she does when it comes to Roxy.
Yeah.
But not a lot of advice about the dudes.
No, not really.
What their weaknesses are.
Yeah. But then Envy shows up at the coffee shop and they talk, and Envy invites Scott to see them play at a secret show. Then Sex Bob-omb gets invited to open for them at that show. The other band members convince Scott to do it, even though it's Envy. We also find out that Knives has been stalking Scott. She's obsessed with him and finds out about Ramona. She vows to get Scott back. She does the whole thing where she dyes her hair.
She calls her fat like 30 times in this movie.
I know. Like, she's not fat at all. I love the whole thing, her with her friend, freaking out. It's like the most teenage girl thing. I didn't even know there was good music until 2 months ago.
And her quiet friend who's literally the entire time rolling her eyes and just like, I'm just here because I'm your friend.
Yeah.
No interest in anything that Knives has going on. Just like, all right, you fell over, you passed out. All right,
Yeah.
all right.
Just like I cannot wait
we're gonna
until
go
you're
hang
over
out
this
with that
dude.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So she calls young Neil and begins dating him.
Cold-blooded. I love it.
Mhm.
You know what? Every young person has to experience that. Like, they hurt me. How do I hurt them back?
Yeah.
You got to work your way through that at some point in your life. It's better to do it while you're young. Like, oh, that wasn't good.
Yeah.
After the clash at what the hell I called clash at Death's
Demon Head.
Demon Head. Ugh. After the Clash at Demon Head show, they go backstage and we discover that the lead guitarist Todd, bassist Todd is Envy's new boyfriend and is one of Ramona's evil exes.
Who she mentioned? She mentioned Todd, right? By
She
name.
mentioned Todd.
Yeah, she did. Yeah. We discover that he has vegan superpowers.
I love it so
What
much.
level vegan is he?
Oh,
level 7?
Yeah. What belt? And we find out he's like not just a douche acting, but like he punches Knives.
Yeah, just because
You know,
Knives is like excited about meeting Envy.
He's like, what? You didn't think I'd hit a girl?
This is such an interesting moment in this movie because the whole like vegans, how do you spot one? They'll tell you kind of thing.
Sure.
But the like self-righteousness that like I can hit a girl because I'm vegan.
Right.
Is kind of what they're getting at, where it's like, what the fuck, man? What is your logical?
They already think they can approach you out of nowhere.
Yeah. I don't know. It's so I watched this with Katie. She'd never seen it, and she's, Gen Z. And her face when that happened, I just looked over and she was just like, holy shit, man. And I'm like, yeah. People were still doing this in movies in 2010. Yeah. Like unapologetically having I can hit a girl. Fuck, I love it. It's such a great scene.
Yeah.
Not that I
not that you like watching girls get hit by dude.
It's
by
just
Brandon
great
Routh.
shorthand
Yeah.
for a villain.
Yes.
You don't have a lot of time to establish him as one, but boom, boom.
Yeah,
he hits
exactly.
chicks and he won't shut up about his veganism.
He's somehow more self-righteous than Scott is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Scott's self-obsessed. I don't know that he feels righteous all that.
That's true.
Yeah. So, him and Scott fight. Scott defeats him by taking away his vegan powers by tricking him into drinking coffee with half and half.
After the base off.
After the base off, yeah.
Is one of the coolest.
Which is awesome.
Yeah. We should say, so Scott's band plays really cheap instruments. But Scott is playing like a $3,000 Rickenbacker bass.
Yeah, he is.
It's the only thing to his name, you know?
Yeah.
Which is cool that it is the only thing to his name. He literally sleeps in his friend's bed.
Stephen Stills is playing an acoustic guitar the whole time, no matter what sounds are coming out of it.
Well, that's why.
Acoustic, yeah.
Yeah, when we were talking about Beck, it's the sound of that particular guitar, not the style of guitar. That guitar that's been stepped on and beat up, like Willie Nelson's guitar.
Yeah,
you could have any guitar in the world.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely, that chunky. But you know what I'm saying. Like that beat up guitar.
Yeah. But there's a lot of electric guitar sounds coming out of that acoustic guitar.
There's nothing squealier than an acoustic guitar through an electric guitar amp. We got none of this.
I wasn't talking technically. I was talking about his sound.
But it is that individual organic sound of that object.
Yeah.
Does anybody know who Bob Log is? I'm sure Al does. Local musician.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bob Log, the third?
The third. Anyways, same kind of thing.
So the vegan police show up and take away Todd's powers.
And they're pointing their fingers at
and those are the
and there's like lasers coming out of their fingers. Yeah.
I love that detail so much that it's just their fingertip. Because they're vegans and they have the power of veganism, I guess.
And they wouldn't carry a gun.
Todd,
they would
that's
never
right.
harm anything.
Todd ate gelato and chicken parm. Chicken parm,
Chicken parm.
I love chicken. Is chicken vegan?
I love the fact that chicken parm has both chicken and Parmesan cheese in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that Scott tricks him by way of the Sicilian gambit, like from The Princess Bride.
Yes.
You know, like it's in this, but I was thinking about this. That's all it took.
It's cool because we're not getting video game punch 'em up as the end of every fight.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
I love
nice
the shot before the vegan police show up, after the base off, when he gets like thrown through 3 walls or something. It cracks me up every time. You see Todd floating with his base through all the holes, and then he just comes in the door.
Yes. Yes.
Every
Cracks
time.
me up every time.
It's kind of like a jump scare almost in the way that they set it up. Oh,
It's just such an old school sitcom type
Yes,
bit.
it is.
It's perfect.
No, I love
Perfect.
how inventive and unique this movie is, while still just having like just straight up incredibly silly laughs.
this movie
Perfect sense
because
of humor.
for our patrons, we're doing Brick, Ryan Johnson's Brick, which is from the same era.
Mhm.
And it was funny because the reason I thought of that is that movie does the same kind of thing that this does, which is uses the camera so fucking much. You know, they don't just sit it on a tripod.
Yeah.
You know, they're using the camera, and the camera's giving color and flavor, and like their push-ins and stuff like that during punches, and
Yeah.
the way they have people running and they're moving slowly with the camera. Like they're doing all of the tricks.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
A lot
Which
of
is-
dynamic.
Yeah. It's which really this movie's chaos. It's almost like a
Oh, yeah.
Transformers movie where you're kind of just looking every direction constantly because shit's popping up on the screen. I mean, it's not like the Transformers movies because those are just like noise,
Mhm.
but this is constantly moving your eyes around the screen, and they're drawing it. I don't know. I love the way that they used just zooms and focus and shit. I'm not a camera person.
No, that's
At all.
yeah, no, Edgar Wright's like directing skills in this are just off the charts. Like,
Yeah.
this movie's incredible as a movie and both just as a fun thing to watch.
It made me. People were talking about Challengers, the Zendaya movie, the tennis movie, and like how inventive some of those shots were. And I was like, yes, to me that's inventive. But there are so many people who are like, yeah, it's like film school shit. And I'm like, well, if that's film school shit, why aren't more people doing it? Because I love that shit.
Yeah.
Well, and what kind of shit do you want it to be? I'd be
Yeah.
like, that's plumbing shit. But
Yeah,
like, that's
Like, yeah, exactly. Like
Yeah.
it's a toilet. It takes my poop
like,
away.
that's
Like, what do you?
actually-
Does it need a
Well,
bell
good.
on it? Yeah,
That's all.
because that's the business we're talking about.
That's the whole thing. Learn the rules and then break them.
yes.
Yeah.
And this
There's
and
a
these
difference
movies
between
do
skill
that.
and technique.
Yes.
There's a difference between art and craft.
Yes, anybody can anybody can learn how to
Anything.
Yeah. Anyone can learn how to do fancy camera tricks, but using them effectively in a story that is that people connect with is where the skill and the talent comes in.
Well, and any of us could, quote unquote, learn heart surgery, but we couldn't perform it per se. We all have the capability of understanding or learning.
I could perform it.
and we do it.
Just not well.
Not well. Yes, of course. Exactly.
I'm a man on a
3, 4.
podcast. I can do
Dig
anything.
what I'm saying.
I'm a
you know,
white
like, it doesn't
middle-aged
take-
man with a podcast. I can do anything I want.
Out of my way. Just that Homer vibe.
Nuts and gum at last.
Like you, just watch the hypnotism one. And now you believe you're Emily Dickinson. Look at me, I'm Angie Dickinson. Out of my way, I'm Hitler.
Remember when we took you to that hypnotist, Homer? Remember, I still think I'm a chicken. Hey, Marge, I'm a chicken.
I know Homer.
So yeah. Then at the after party, Scott gets attacked by Roxy again, lesbian ninja Roxy. Ramona, he doesn't want to fight a girl, so Ramona grabs Scott and fights Roxy using his hands because he has to defeat her with his own hands.
Pulling the giant sledgehammer out of her purse.
Yes.
That's rad.
That's one of the coolest shots. Back to the camera tricks.
Mm-hmm.
Making an object that's too big, Mary Poppins, come out of your bag. It's a camera trick. It's a classic camher trick.
Or like Warner Brothers cartoon, Looney Tunes, you know.
But then adding the dimension of her backflip kicking her, like scorpion kicking her in the face while hitting her in the head with the hammer. They really were like, how can we ramp this thing up? We have a simple idea. How do we turn it into something else with every shot? Like, so good. Because again, it doesn't feel linear. It doesn't feel like Mortal Kombat where it's like, cool, they got to punch another guy. It's like, ooh, how's this going to go?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, and he's so distracted and blown away by the fact that she might have had a same sex, so that doesn't even occur to his little mind.
Yeah.
Which is, it was weird to me then, and it's weird to me now. And it's just funny to see how far the culture has come in the sense that he's like hung up on that. Like,
and there's, straight guys, some of them would say that they want that, but then the jealousy would be just as much as with
I
the
don't
dude.
want any.
Like, is she bitter?
Well, it's just more people to be jealous of.
Yeah, no,
suspicious of.
No.
Right.
I don't want my wife to be with another woman because that's still being another human being. That's not me.
Yeah, I'm the only woman for my wife.
Yes,
Mom, she needs.
He's surprised, but she's been correcting him the entire time. Every time he says ex-boyfriends, like exes.
Yeah.
Every time. Ex-boyfriends, exes.
Yeah.
Which this movie does a lot, I think, of moving the ball, of having that discussion without having that discussion. You know, what am I supposed to do? Basically, what she does.
To
you know,
yeah. To speak of what Brian was saying of like how far we've come, like since this movie, the 14 years since this movie came out. Yeah, I know. Yeah, but what was it? I think it's something like I think it was like 12% of millennials identify as LGBT, and 30% of Gen Z does.
The kids are all right.
Yeah.
Pretty gay, it turns out.
Don't forget about QIN plus.
Yeah.
Yes. I never remember what comes after Q, so I usually leave it out. But it is Pride Month, and I, for one, am going to be supporting it and supporting turning 6 other months into Deadly Sin months as well.
I agree.
I'm still fighting for a larceny month. I don't know. I think crimes to be represented.
I think sloth should get November. It just feels right.
It just feels right. Yeah.
It's election month.
Afterwards, Scott gets drunk and angry at Ramona's exes, and they kind of break up. She breaks up with him, basically. Then, at the next Battle of the Bands, Sex Bob-omb has to defeat Ramona's 5th and 6th evil exes, the twins Kyle and Ken.
That would be weird. Not would be. There's no. I already know, because being bisexual is not weird. But being with twins, from Scott's point of view,
siblings,
that should bother him way more. Yeah,
the siblings should be weird.
Did one wait outside the door, or
dating them simultaneously? Yes,
right.
The Katayagani twins.
Yes. So
it's like, I don't know, that scene from Watchmen where Dr. Manhattan turns himself into like two different guys.
Yeah. So he can work in
kind of what I
to please her while he's working on the science stuff in the other room.
That's why he and his brother date the same.
So that one of them can keep working on the music.
Equations.
I assumed it was a Challengers kind of situation. She's too much woman for just one man, and they both like take shifts
Well, she
Basically.
just keeps reminding Scott he's out of his league. It starts with people calling him a lady killer and what have you, and then he first has to deal with that insecure guy thing of like, what, a woman, and now two Japanese twins. Like, what am I?
Well, and
he's bragging on Knives Chow in the beginning, and then by now it's just like, what?
You know what's interesting is Scott's 22 and Ramona's 23. So this is even like, oh, he's dating like not by much, but dating an older woman, like a real woman too.
She's definitely more worldly. She seems like a woman.
Yeah.
He seems like a child.
So, he defeats a sex bomb defeats them. Scott gets an extra life
with the dragons and the gorilla.
Yeah.
This is my least favorite scene in the movie.
Yeah,
honestly.
this is the one that's it's fine, but it's one of the least interesting fights by far.
Agreed.
I'm glad it wasn't earlier in the movie, but I think it should have, maybe been when the lesbians fight happens, because that was way more intense than this.
That's my novel. Look for it in Antigone, when the lesbians fight.
Yeah, this was kind of like we just got to get through the
when the crawdads sing.
It sounds like an Amazon romance novel.
I feel like not a lot of them.
What was the saying I read online is like, oh yeah, men have no idea what women want, and lesbians have even less of an idea. Apparently it's a joke among lesbians that they cannot figure out when women are into them at all. And the men online are welcome to the club, ladies.
I know. I want these people to just have a mixer. I want to just get together. There are female incels and male incels. I really see a solution in front of us.
Right? It kind of figures itself out.
It really does. Just get them together. Pool party or some shit.
See, the problem is that both of the cell groups think that they deserve much more attractive people than are generally in these cell groups.
That is exactly what's right. Yes. Yes.
I think there's some merit to an incel mixer, though. You know,
I do not want to attend the incel mixer
or
work the incel mixer.
Yeah,
I'm not
it's
one.
not for us.
I don't need the hand.
Yeah. No, but I don't even want to do catering for it. I don't want to be around it.
Yeah, I don't want to facilitate it. No.
No, I'm an idea man.
Show up and we have to show up like it's ET in those fucking scientist suits, you know? Like, ooh.
A series of tubes. Plastic tubes.
So everyone starts screaming when we walk in. They're like,
yeah. But during this battle, we see that Ramona is there with her ex, Gideon. Scott runs out afterwards to tell her that he loves her, but he says lesbians instead of love.
Instead of love.
She's back with Gideon.
I think Gideon is a Rocky Raccoon reference, by the way. Gideon was hot, drew first and shot.
That's Rocky.
He's the classic guy who stole your girl in a Beatles tune.
That makes sense. Interesting.
He's also a great American caricature compared to all of their Canadianness. Like he's just so dickish and obnoxious for
New
the sake
York.
of it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like New York club owning promoter guy.
Right. Not like
promoters.
Not like a big, like handsome hunk guy either. He's just Jason Schwartzman, but like, yeah.
I love that
Gideon was just a Bible in the Rocky Raccoon song, right?
No. Gideon.
Gideon was hot. He drew first and shot.
And Rocky.
But they referenced Gideon's Bible.
They referenced Gideon's.
And then they used it as a character's name a line later.
Gotcha.
They were
only to find Gideon's Bible.
Yeah. You say they, Paul. There was no one but Paul on that track, Brian.
That's true.
Yeah. So
an LSD. I mean, let's be real.
She's back with Gideon, though she leaves with him in his limo. But Gideon decides to give Sex Bomb a record deal. Scott refuses to sign, and young Neil takes his place as bass player.
So we see Ramona has dyed her hair green. She is wearing a green ring that sparkles.
Mm-hmm.
It's like there's symbolism there, I guess. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Envy,
whatever. But yeah, it's cool the way that they show and don't tell, like she's being mind controlled.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was neat.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Until later on, they literally tell us.
She has a chip in her fucking brain. I hate it so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, but isn't that kind of like what gaslighting is? And you know, that abusive, toxic male kind of like.
It's interesting because the jewelry thing is already kind of doing that. You know, the like, which is also very shallow versus the chip thing. I guess that does make sense to not just have her be like a gold digger.
Yeah,
She's not just in it for the green rings.
Yeah, no.
And that's why she had to escape him. You know what I mean?
Because it is
she had to go all the way to the snowy north.
Yeah, all the way to Toronto.
The snowy north.
The magical realism.
Scott tells his sister how sad he is on the swings. Gideon and Scott
they get off the swings. Right, how sad he is on the swings.
Gideon invites Scott to his new club, the Chaos Theater, where Sex Bomb is playing at the big opening.
Just Chaos would have been, Club Chaos, but the Chaos Theater, that is not a theater I'm going to.
No. I'm good, guys. Thanks.
I like to have some idea what's going to happen.
Yeah.
No 2-minute warning.
No chaos, please.
No ushers.
Yeah.
No duck.
Like, where do I buy my tickets?
Sometimes the trailers are after the movie.
Who am I? Where am I?
Scott decides he's going to get Ramona back. He shows up and gets inside. I like how it's like he's going into the castle to fight Bowser.
Yeah.
I love the secret passwords.
Yeah.
Whatever.
2 of them.
Yeah, the second one is just, yeah. He challenges Gideon to a fight for Ramona. He earns the power of love sword. But while they're fighting, Knives shows up, attacking Ramona, and Scott is forced to reveal that he cheated on both of them. Gideon kills Scott, and in limbo, he's visited by Ramona, who reveals that Gideon has implanted her with a mind control chip. Scott uses his 1-up to come back and try to defeat the level again.
I love the speed run aspect to the video game. I've already done this. I know exactly where each platform is going to be. I know where the spikes are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And of course, Sex Bomb is playing and they're like dressed up now. Kim is wearing the kitty ears.
I love the emotional work that he does walking in on the second go around.
Yes.
Because the first time he's like, fuck you guys. The second time, I'm so sorry. I suck. You guys are great without me. Like, I forget the girl. What's the girl drummer's name? He's
Kim.
like, I'm so sorry. I suck. It's my fault. You're great.
Yeah. No. No. Yeah. Scott has figured himself out. That's
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I have to do this for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pathetic because I'm pathetic.
And this time he gains the power of self-respect sword.
That was going to be my 10. And I still haven't.
I love that he pulls them out of his heart. It is a really cool visual.
Yeah.
Pulling the sword out of yourself to fight somebody with.
Yeah. No, super cool visual. He apologizes to Ramona and Knives for cheating on them and accepting his own faults. He joins forces with Knives and they defeat Gideon. But then, after Gideon is defeated, and Sex Bomb realizes they're not going to get paid, so Steven still starts gathering up all the coins.
7 billion.
That's a lot of coins.
That was the.
Even if they're all,
that was the reward. There.
Even if they're all pennies, that's like what, over $1 million, right? Canadian.
Yeah.
Well, and one of their I don't know what it's worth Canadian, but they're called loonies because it has that bird, a loon on it. But I think they're somewhere in $1 or more, value.
Yeah.
I love Canada, man. They call their money loonies.
Yeah.
I
found that out from Trailer Park Boys, I think. They're constantly trying to steal vending machines and things like that. But anyways, yeah. So that's quite a haul of money there.
Yeah. But then Nega Scott shows up. And I love that, like, they set this up as the last super battle where Scott has to fight himself, but it just cuts to afterwards.
Yeah. Love it.
Or they just had a chat.
Yeah. Like they're going to go get brunch.
Yeah, why would you?
No. What they actually say to each other is like, yeah, no, it's great. We can get waffles and also some bacon on the side. Well, that sounds great to me.
All right. Hey, I'll check you later.
Nega Scott should have been like, no, we're going to get bacon with waffles on the side.
But of course, Scott would love himself as a friend.
Yeah.
It is kind of an interesting symbolic thing that, like, you would think that he should have to battle himself. And it's like, no, like, you like yourself. You think your taste is good. You would like to hang out with someone like you. Why do you hate yourself so much? Oh.
Okay.
But now that Scott's confronted himself, has grown as a person, Ramona is going to leave. She thinks Scott and Knives are going to get back together. But Knives accepts that her relationship with Scott's over and that she's grown. The whole his hair's getting shaggy thing, Knives finally tells him to cut it. He hasn't cut it since he broke up with what's her face?
He's been cutting it himself.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, the Floby.
Which is much worse.
Yeah, and because it's got like that weird, like it's a little too high in the front.
Yeah, he looks like he should be making beer in the 1400s.
Yeah.
Friar. But yeah, the uneven layers.
Yeah. His version of a COVID haircut.
It's cute because we get the three-peat of her saying this now, and it turns back to him and his hat is on again. Because he's still self-conscious about his hair a little bit.
Yeah, but then she takes it off him and is like, you should get that cut. But yeah, so Knives encourages Scott to go after Ramona, and he follows her and says they should try again. He wants to go with her. They hold hands and walk through a door in the middle of the street as the sun rises. We get the continue 3, 2, 1, and then credits roll with Beck's Ramona song.
She lives in subspace.
Yes.
That doorway was a subspace doorway. That's why it kind of appeared anywhere. And that's why she was in his dream, because there was a subspace highway going through her head.
And she said, I forgot you don't have that in Canada.
It's a weird movie.
It's a fun movie. It's tight.
It is. It is weird. It's fucking weird, and it's awesome.
It's cool to take something that is real, that is kind of an intangible. Video games and music, they're both kind of intangibles, and use them to make a surreal visual thing in film. It is a cool movie.
Yeah.
Totally
worked.
Like, there's nothing else like it, really, besides maybe Ready Player One.
No, but
which is not a cool movie.
That leaned too much. That was just like, here, let's throw a bunch at. This was, a movie that used all that.
This is interesting because it uses video games to tell a very simple romantic comedy story.
So my big thought on this movie was, I don't like the stylistic style that they settled on that this movie is made with, but goddamn, do I love that they did it, Like, that sounds so, like, not to say that it's bad, but like, this is not my style of art, all the little interstitial Ramona pictures and stuff, like, it's very manga, very like kind of cute. It's cuter than Sailor Moon. I'm dating myself. Holy shit. But yeah, like,
oh, you mean like the literal like art style of Scott Pilgrim?
Of Scott Pilgrim. And we got little pieces of that and like the elements of it and the video game thing.
Oh yeah, it's like, not my style.
But damn, they really, I can't think of anybody else that's nailed this much of a thing. You know?
Has anyone watched the series? There's a Netflix series that came out last year.
Is it a cartoon in the style?
It is
of
a.
the
It is
original?
it is a cartoon in the style of the original. It stars the entire cast. The entire cast came back. Chris Evans, Michael Cera, Mary Elizabeth Winstead. Everybody came back to do the voices. Yep. Young Neil.
Oh my God.
So what's okay? Yeah. No. And apparently the premise of the film or the series, which is what's it titled? It's Scott Pilgrim. Scott Pilgrim Takes Off is what it's called. The premise is that it's a what if, and Scott dies in the first battle and loses, and then it just follows all the other characters and what would happen in that case.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I guess it's better without Michael Cera.
Yeah, I mean he's in and out because they play fast and loose with a lot of like time and like continuity and stuff. But an anecdote about it is when they all got a call to do this, there was apparently an email chain in the cast back in 2010 before they would all have had like a group chat. It was an email chain, and it had stopped in 2010 when the movie came out, and apparently in 2022 when they were about to start recording the voices for this, Michael Cera responded to a GIF or a meme that Chris Evans had sent in 2010 that just said "lol," and Chris Evans was like, "Michael, what are you doing?
Well, we're back.
You're responding to this 12 years later."
Hell yeah, he's trying to bring it back. He's trying to get the band back together.
Yeah,
he's trying to make some friends.
Bring it back.
But I haven't watched it yet. I plan to. Apparently, it's very good. It's gotten very, very good reviews.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it. Final thoughts on Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
No, I like it.
Yeah,
I will be watching it again, and yeah,
I like it.
I'll enjoy it again.
I like it a lot. I don't think we need to go through. I assume it's all 4 thumbs up.
Mm-hmm. I brought a second thumb if we need it.
No objection.
Fistful of fingers.
Fistful of fingers. All right.
Fistful of thumbs.
So that is it for Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Next time on Harmless Phosphorescence, we're going to be watching Blue Beetle. Yes, that is a movie that existed.
I watched it on TV. It was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely one that came and went and did not make much of an impression on anything or anyone.
It would have been huge in 2017.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah, sure.
Exactly. So next week, Blue Beetle. Until then, thanks everyone for hanging out with us. This has been one of your hosts, Thoreau Smiley, and I said lesbians.
We need to play now and fast. From Josh Cece.
Take it up with Liberace's Ghost. I'm Brian Lesh.
Take it up.
Next time, I'll be deadly serious. Next time, I'm Alaric Weber.
Mostly.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see ya. Bye.
Bye.